The Film Slice crew review the Breaker Uperers.
That's what I've been thinking about that all day, trying to remember. That's what we're reviewing.
The Breaker Uperers.
Enjoy.
Hey team, Angus Draken here, and welcome to the Film Slice podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wheelie Kane Dogs, and Bro Diddly Doo Broadman. How are we, gents? That's this guy. This week, we are reviewing the Breaker Uperers. Kane Dogs, hit us up with that IMDb summary.
Two women cynical in love set up an agency to break couples up as a way to avoid letting go and moving on with their lives.
Thanks, Kane Dogs. Broadman. Let's start with you. When'd you see it?
When you see the movie, what did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit. I saw it yesterday at 1 in the afternoon, and
Yeah, there we go.
It was bloody good. Really loved it.
Nice. Kane Dogs, when did you see the movie? What'd you think?
I saw it Saturday night, and it
Why was that such a big sigh?
It was a real drag.
so
It was
long
a
ago.
lifetime ago.
It was so forgettable.
Almost 2 days ago.
So forgettable. Didn't like it. Wasn't a
Not a
fan.
fan.
There was comical moments in it, but they felt more like individual sketches than a good movie. So, yeah,
Right.
Not my deal.
I saw it this morning on my way here.
Of course you did.
And I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. It was really good. It was a breath of fresh air, something different to everything else we've been watching recently. Lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram. I forgot Twitter this week.
Yes,
what
we're,
movie?
we're aware that you're lazy.
Yeah, well,
you are also, you do put the most effort out of the three of us, and you're lazy. We have, there's no hope.
Doesn't bode well for this podcast.
No hope.
And I asked people if they've seen the movie we're reviewing, our Slicey Slices, if they have any thoughts on the film.
Wait, you've got to let us guess how many there are, because me and Brody have been doing this forever.
All right, how many people?
2.
1.
0. No one did it. I did put it up late last night though, so that's fair.
Mate.
I'm busy. I got shit to do.
You posed the question 8 hours ago.
No, I
For the
posted
segment.
16 hours ago. It was 16 hours
It was
ago.
double the length of time you
Yeah.
said.
I was
Jordan.
trying to make the time
Burn.
seem shorter so that there was an explanation as to why nobody wrote in.
But if the Slicey Slices were to say something, it probably would have been like, hey, check out our podcast.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram.
At Better Podcast says, didn't see that movie, thought we'd review a better movie. Hope all is well. Good luck with your shitty little podcast.
Hope all is well.
Yeah.
Yours sincerely.
You're sincerely someone better than you, with more followers and friends.
That's what our Slicey Slices thought of this movie.
Cool, I like it.
Yeah,
We're not
cool.
at all bitter.
Kane Dogs. Would you recommend it, and who would you recommend it to?
I would not recommend this film.
At all.
No.
No one would enjoy it.
Look, I really liked Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a person on earth, and if you want to argue, you feel free to Instagram Brody, that no one disliked Ragnarok, and I think Taika Waititi is incredible, but this film was just so boring for me.
Yeah.
It felt like a really well-written student film with the kind of comedy that you've really got to understand his brand of comedy to find it funny.
So,
Right,
Taika
so Jordan
Waititi...
says that it's well written. Over to you, Angus.
No, I just thought it lacked a decent premise, it lacked a decent story arc, and the comedy fell flat 50% of the time for me.
Taika was the
executive director, so he didn't actually direct this one.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so he's just an executive director, but it's the same people that worked.
Wasn't he just a producer?
Oh, sorry, executive producer. Sorry, not executive
That
director.
explains a
Is
lot.
there such thing as an executive director? I don't think there is.
Because
There is now.
I like to think if I was a director, I'd just make that my title.
Yeah, so
I'm the executive director.
So the directors were actually the two stars.
Written and directed by the two stars.
leads.
Oh, yeah. No, I found this film really flat for me. Really flat.
Broadman. Broadman.
Sorry.
Broadman.
I would recommend this film to people our age, probably not to go see it at the cinema. It's not really a cinema film, but I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was incredibly funny and really weird. And
Yeah.
it was kind of wonderfully weird and funny. And I just liked it. It just felt like kind of just a new comedy. And I hadn't seen too much stuff similar to it. And it just surprised me. I had no expectations. Didn't even see a trailer going into this film. I knew the name of it. After you guys said the name of it, I was like, I'll go see it. Went into it and just watched it and just thought it was really funny. I was like one of 10 people in the cinema. And in the cinema, there was an old woman and then like a bunch of younger people. All of the younger people laughed. And it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
And we were all laughing out loud, even though there was only like 10 of us.
No, I found myself getting really bored during this film.
Thanks for asking, Cane Dogs. I saw the movie.
You're welcome, man. I like to think that you and me are like yin and yang, and you're really thoughtful, and fuck you.
Would I recommend it, or who would I recommend it to? I would definitely recommend it to, as you said, Broadman, anyone kind of our age, anyone who loves the New Zealand style of comedy. There's something very uncannily New Zealand about this film and about the type of humor it is. So if you like Flight of the Conchords, Cane Dogs, you said Hunt for the Wilder People, all of that kind
Ursula
of...
Clarkson, she's not New Zealand, but she's very like well known for being from New Zealand.
Korg
Yeah.
from Ragnarok.
If you like Korg, like it's pretty much a whole movie
I
of
love
Korg.
all of that, but this film just didn't hit it for me.
Yeah, I thought the comedy was really fantastic. So anyone who kind of enjoys those kind of movies, I would recommend it to.
I will add, potentially, because I saw this with my girlfriend, and she isn't a fan of that type of humor. She really likes Ragnarok, but outside of that, Hunt for the Wilder People and all of that, not really her jam.
Yeah.
And I will admit that through watching this, I felt guilty. So, like, I felt like I couldn't enjoy it as much because the person next to me potentially...
I understand
like,
that.
you know, if you see a movie and someone's not into it, it's sort of... You don't feel like you should get...
It's like watching a funny film with, like, your parents. Like, if your parents don't find it funny, you're like, you don't really want to laugh.
Or
Even
like
if you find it really funny.
Yeah, if there's
And
like an
like-
awkward sex scene that's meant to be like a funny awkward sex scene, but you're watching it with your parents. It's like,
just a bit awkward. So
yeah.
I think if I'd seen this with you guys and you guys were laughing at every joke, I probably would have also laughed at every joke. But because I spent the whole time wondering whether the people next to me found it funny, and I saw it from a perspective that wasn't just my own, it probably dampened my experience of it.
Well, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100%. I'll accept the blame for that. I'm always wrong.
Anything we want to touch on? Anything we want to touch on before we head on into spoilers?
Yes, I would like to hear Jordan's best New Zealand accent.
Hi, I'm Cog. This is me. That's all I got.
That's not a New Zealand accent. That's actually Korg's
That's
accent.
Korg's accent. Hi, I'm Taika Waititi. This is me.
It's not super cinema, so there's no like huge big production moments or whatever.
No.
But just
Or
really,
set
just really
locations.
funny.
But I like that. I like that it wasn't like a big cinema thing. We'll get into it in spoilers, which is now. Spoilers!
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
We're in the spoiler section now, gentlemen.
Welcome to spoilers.
This is my
dissect
spoiler
and
voice.
divulge everything about the film.
This is my spoiler voice.
Starting with Cane Dogs.
Yes.
What was your most positive thing about the film?
I hate you. Weirdly, I haven't thought at all about this. My most
I can go
positive...
first.
Yeah, you go first, because...
Okay. There was a really random moment in the middle of the film where it broke out into a music video.
Yeah.
And I thought it was hilarious. It was so weird. I sat up from my seat and just like put my hands on my head, just like, what is going on? And then I got into it and I was like, this is so weird and I love it.
This is fun.
And there is a specific shot in that music video where they drop a champagne bottle and it bounces off the ground and then it cuts to a champagne bottle being broken on the ground.
Yes, I
That was
noticed
And
that.
it was hilarious.
That was my favourite
It was
part,
so
too.
like 80s amateur filmmaking, and it was so well done, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, I love that. That was going to be my favorite part as well. Which is like, it's one of those gags where it's
funny
like
to people that know film.
Yeah, anyone can do it, and it's like it's not noticeable unless you like. It's not like
It's a background gag.
Pointing the finger, looking at this. It's like
It's one of
But
those.
that
It's
was
one of those
fantastic.
jokes where you feel like you feel like not everybody noticed it, and because of that, you feel kind of special.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those jokes that like only for the people that are really paying attention are gonna get anything out of it.
Yeah,
So when you
exactly.
notice it, you're like, I noticed it.
It's a rewarding kind of joke.
Yeah, that's the word. It's very rewarding. Okay, I got one.
Okay, go.
So the girlfriend of Jordan, and she had like her mates that were always behind her. I just love that. Like, there's a point where they go to visit her at work.
Yes.
And then all of her mates are just behind the counter with her at work. I love that. That was my favorite thing, where they're just all there all the time. It's great.
Yeah.
That bit was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Angus.
I really like the champagne bit. All of the gags really landed for me. I don't think there were any gags that
I don't have a problem with the
didn't
gags.
land.
This whole film just felt to me like a sketch show. Like, it just, like, the story wasn't enough for me or fleshed out enough for me to feel like I was watching a movie with characters going through story arcs. It just felt like gag to gag to gag. And each gag for me I found funny, but I didn't feel invested in anything that was happening story-wise, and that was where it fell flat for me.
Yeah, I think there was enough story for me to follow along, and I feel like this movie was like it's definitely a comedy, so you can't like be like, oh, it wasn't dramatic enough or deep enough. Like there were a few deep things in it.
The stakes just never felt high for me.
Yeah, I think like the main point of this film was to make people laugh, though, and I feel like it succeeded in that. My favorite thing about the film, besides what you guys just said, go.
Police strip scene.
Nah.
I actually found that very funny. I was very confused.
I liked the police station bit was really good.
I was just
The
like,
police-
what is
them just
happening?
going to the police station and then them just having to go further and further in.
And they kept
Tony?
opening different
It's
doors.
like,
then
Dirty Tony or something? Is it Dirty Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, hey, Dirty Tony.
And then the actual policeman comes in and is like, did Dirty Tony set this up for me? Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. I actually really liked... I'm just going to say all of the actors. I feel like all of the actors, they did a really good job of, just being themselves.
In the montage, the bit with Ursula Carlson, where she's like being dunked in the lake as part of like a religious thing.
Yeah.
And she's got like one line, and she's in there. It's just so great.
I spent this whole movie looking for Taika Waititi because I thought it was directed by him, and he's always in his films.
Yeah.
And so when I got to the end and he wasn't in it, I felt robbed. Like, it's like reading a whole Where's Wally book and just never finding Wally.
I'm pretty sure you don't read a Where's Wally book, Jordan.
Well,
You're doing it wrong.
I did because I could never find Wally.
You just read, okay, so Wally, Waldo. You just read the people you're meant
never
to find.
found him, and then closed the book.
You're just reading the names of the things you're meant to find in the top corner.
Yeah, I never found.
By the way,
any of that.
in Australia, it's Where's Wally. In America, Where's Waldo?
Huh. Well, we did it better. Safe to say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wally is a better name than Waldo.
Waldo.
Seeing though I've never met anyone called Waldo.
Well, because Wally can be short for Wallace.
Yeah.
But Waldo isn't short for anything.
Waldus.
Waldus. Waldo.
Got him. It's fine. I'm sure they don't care.
What's your favourite bit, Angus?
There's one prick out there called Waldo who's crying right now.
If there's
He's not listening.
His name's Waldus. And he's just really upset.
Oh, I wish they could find me.
And I like the fact that there's no really like Hollywood style pretty person. Like they're all, not that they're all ugly, but they're all
normal
average,
looking. They're all
average looking
normal
people.
Not,
I think that just makes it grounded a bit more, and I think that made it funnier as well, that they can kind of poke fun at themselves.
I liked that their parents were just kind of still together and they were happy.
Yeah.
And they're just living in a house and they were just like just a little bit off.
Yeah.
Or just a little bit unusual.
You know what
so many in these films, I feel like they go to their parents' place and they're like, and it's just like their parents are divorced, or they've got like a stepfather, a stepmother, or
It's like a dire situation kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Either
there's-
that,
and it's
or
like-
it's always like
it's just some-
picturesque.
Yeah.
The dad's like in a cardigan and has glasses.
Yeah, it's like some weird thing like that, and it's like nah. It's just like it's just that normal thing where they've got weird parents. Everyone has weird parents because they think their
Everyone's
parents
parents are awkward.
All right, darling, I'm going off to have sex with your father. Do pop in when you sleep, when you leave.
Yeah,
No, I'm
I'm
not
not
gonna
popping
pop
in.
in,
Don't
no.
be silly.
That was silly.
Like,
Pop
I'm
in.
not popping in, mum.
Yeah, very good.
I did like there was a scene and it was like passive aggressive sex.
Oh,
it's
with,
the- and-
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
with
with
Jermaine.
Jermaine.
Yeah. And he's like,
Can you look at me,
Can you
please?"
at least look at me? And she looks at him with disgust. He's like,
He's like,
not like that.
not like that.
And he's like, fine, I'll just finish. And she's
I like
no,
to have
don't
some
come. He's like,
kind
no,
of.
I'm going to do it now.
I like to have some kind of connection with people I'm having sex with. You're inside me.
Yeah, there's on like a human level. It's like you're inside me.
Don't come yet.
Yeah, that
I'm gonna
was
come
good.
whenever I want to come.
Whenever I want to come.
I'm coming now. No, don't.
That was, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Brilliant.
that was a great scene.
Yeah.
It was so great that Jermaine was just
Fantastic,
in
yeah.
there. It was just like he wasn't a big thing. It was like he didn't come up
I
again.
just love that he's such like an iconic New
He's such
Zealand
a-
actor that he can just pop up and people are just like, huh, it's that guy.
He's
So-
in,
and that's like
I
the-
reckon
reckon-
Legion. He's one of the characters in Legion, that X-Men is show that I told you to watch through. It's
Oh, wow.
presumably you never watched.
No.
But he's in that.
Oh, there you go.
I'd like to think that they're comedians, the people who wrote and directed this in New Zealand, and so they probably know all the other comedians
Yeah.
in New Zealand.
Yeah, probably.
So that's how it's
like a tight knit
know
It's probably,
Jermaine
it's,
and
it's
that
probably
sort of
like
stuff.
whenever Andy Samberg does a film, and it's
Well,
just
they-
like Bill Hader is always going to be in it. There's a part where they have a conversation. We need to get to negatives at some point, but
Yeah.
there's a part where they had a conversation in a shopping center, in like a not a shop, like a grocery store, and they're at the
like
register.
a shopping centre.
Yeah, they're at the register, and they keep asking like if they
Yeah,
can have some
can we
space,
have some
and the woman
privacy?
at the register was like,
this
no.
is my
No, this is my
register.
till.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving you alone here.
And they
was
just
so
keep
good.
asking if they can have space, and she's like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
And
my
she like
till.
she kept joining in the conversation.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
oh no.
Yeah,
She is
you're
not
seeing
happy with that.
Yeah, you're
She's
seeing
one
a younger
unhappy woman.
man. Just because I'm seeing a younger man, go you. He's very young. Ooh, he's 18. Legal.
Legal.
Yeah.
See?
Kept going.
That was
Yeah,
great.
good. All right, let's. I mean, we could quote this movie from start to finish, but instead, let's head on and into negatives. Cane Dogs, I guess you're tearing up for the negatives. Hit us up.
Look, I found this movie to be lacking. I agree that comedies aren't meant to be too in depth. They're not meant to have too big an emotional hook. But I found that this film ended when I thought it was like a third of the way through, because I thought we were yet to hit the arc. Like, it wasn't until I walked out of the film and I was like, oh, I guess the arc was that the two main characters kind of had a falling out. And one of them kind of dated a younger kid. Kind of. And the other one kind of went back to her ex, or she just kind of saw him. And then the roll credits, and it just felt like
She got pregnant.
the skits were great, and like, you know, going from the comedy landed for me individually, but in terms of there being any story arc that I followed and felt everything felt like a side thing, like in a comedy, like or like just using a romantic comedy. You've got like the male and the female, and they've got their arc, and then maybe one of the main character's best friends also has a mini arc. This felt like a whole movie based like that, and I know it's meant to feel
Yeah.
small scale, but
I think
it felt
I
boring and sort of lacking heft for me.
understand what you mean. Like I completely understand. All I can say on that, because like we're individuals and all that shit, is
No,
that
me and Angus are actually the same person.
Same
It's
person.
just
It's
Angus
just
is
that
me turned inside out.
Angus is me turned inside out.
so you've got a beard on the inside.
I do have a beard
Yeah,
on the
you don't
inside.
Okay. All I can say is that this film, it just felt like one of those kind of like snippets of life. Where
Yeah,
it's like, there's
that's
so
what I
many
was
things that
gonna say.
they didn't kind of plan for. And it's like you have like falling outs with people, and then you eventually you make up as because like your friends and that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Lady Bird.
That's
like that.
yeah. The pennies just dropped with me. This felt like Lady Bird, which is that it's realistic, but I don't go to see films because I want realistic.
Yeah.
I go to see films because I want exaggeration. I want to
Fair
escape. As much as I enjoy films that have realistic elements, like favorite film of all time is Batman: The Dark Knight, and that's a realistic take of a superhero film, but it's still super exaggerated from what real life
Yeah.
is.
So I understand what you mean, but all I can say is that I just loved it because it was like
Yeah.
that was a part that I just loved as well. There was no huge events
Yeah.
happening. There was just like it was just having fun and kind of remembering the little moments. Like
Yeah, that's
the
it.
moment where they're like sitting like at the beach and there's a woman walking her dog and they're like, oh no, don't Don't go over
There's
there.
some seedy pricks down that way.
Some weird looking guys down there. There was a bit, my least favorite bit.
Well specified.
It was a scene where she connects with her ex-boyfriend in the restaurant. And she chats with him.
That was such a nothing scene for me.
That's what I was going to say. It was just, it wasn't a funny scene. It was like, I guess it was kind of important for her to realize how like good her like friendship was and stuff, but I feel like there was probably a better way to get there.
It felt like it was meant to be a culmination of a build-up.
That scene was just, it was just a little bit, like I feel like they were meant to make it a bit sad because she was like getting really drunk or whatever, but she just felt a bit sad and a bit down, and so there was no kind of comedic moments in that scene, and it was just kind of like a bit of a sad, depressing scene, just like watching her. She's lost her best friend.
I guess it's kind of like her low point.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like it was like a super low point either.
It would have.
Do you know what I mean? There wasn't. I felt like there could have been like a big like a breaking point for her, but that wasn't really it. So that was, and like I gotta say, I struggled to find something I didn't like about this film because I love this film, like each part of it. But like I think that was, I'm just putting that in there. Like that was my least favorite scene.
Now Angus has been barking at the bit to have something to say or do, and I'm just trying to talk as long as I can because I know it's sort of boiling up in him. Brody, what would you say is your favourite colour? And I want you to be specific.
Okay. Probably the colour of Angus's beard. Over to you, Angus.
Thanks, man. My most negative part of this film, it's tricky. Broadman, you said it perfectly. Like, I was struggling to find a negative. When I walked out of the cinema, I was like, there's nothing really that I hated about that film. Like, everything really landed for me.
It looked great.
It looked great. I really liked how familiar the setting was, and I guess it's probably because it's like a New Zealand kind of thing, in Australia and New Zealand, like they probably have similar histories and similar, just like the buildings and stuff, and like the use of old cars. Like,
was this shot on film?
I think it was. It looked like it was.
There was because there was a bunch of scenes where I was like, "Man, this looks great," and it kind of reminds me of like an but type thing. And I was like, maybe it's shot on film.
How they changed the aspect ratio for like the music videos and the flashbacks and stuff like that. Like that was good. But I guess my biggest negative that I can think of is
I can think of some stuff as well.
My biggest negative that I can think of is how nonchalant they were about the pregnancy. I feel like maybe they didn't land on it kind of heavily enough. But like even then, like I feel like that was just kind of one of the quirks. Like, oh, I'm pregnant now. Whoops. But like that was a very small nitpick. Like I'm still more than happy than watching some of the other films that we've watched this year.
I found Jordan to be
bit of a dick.
I
always find Jordan to be a bit of a dick.
Yeah, I hate that guy. Although the guy in the movie, he was pretty good. I liked him.
No, man, fuck you and your beard. No, I love your beard.
You've got one on the inside, Jordan.
We've all got one on the inside. What I was going to say, I think Jordan was exaggerated to be younger than his age. Like he's meant to be...
He's talking about himself in the third person.
Angus thinks so too.
No,
Brody couldn't care less.
I knew, you know what? I knew this was going to be a problem when I watched the movie and his name was Jordan, and I was like, this is going to be a really annoying thing the whole podcast because I want to talk about his character.
Well, you can change your name.
Okay, what am I changing my name to?
Gordon.
No, anything but that. Anybody that calls me, do you know how it's like you're either with me or you're against me? The only way to be against me is by calling me Gordon.
Okay. Anything but that?
Anything but that.
Gordo.
Fine. So, Jordan in the film, the character, not me, Gordo.
You didn't have to specify. We know who Jordan is.
We know who Jordan is.
He was exaggerated to be younger than he was intellectually. Like, he's meant to be 18, and I found it comical, but I just thought, since that's exaggerated, why was nothing else exaggerated? And that being said, his girlfriend was also very exaggerated, which I thought was great.
It's a good point, Gordo. But
I hate you. My favourite thing was just him walking through the aquarium and he's just counting.
Like counting the sharks.
2, 3, 4. It was great.
Yeah. I think all of his lines were very good though.
He's like, this is my room. You can sleep here. You can put your presents up if you want. It was great.
You're very intellectual. Like
I like how
intellectual
Gordo
flower.
delivered that exactly how Korg delivers his line.
Korg
He's
is
like, my name's Korg. He's like, here's my room. You said it.
Taika
Gordo
Waititi-
said it exactly the same.
Taika Waititi as Korg is my only New Zealand accent reference.
Cool. What else? We've gone
What are
through
other
all the
segments
negatives.
we have?
I don't think there's any like major negatives that I found.
This was
I was
just
really struggling.
really well made.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
Yeah.
This film, I love the look of it. Just every scene, I just like. Usually, when watching these films, especially comedies, I can pick out everything I would change, like even just visually in a scene. And it's just like set dressing and everything. All the little bits. I just sit there and I'm just like, nah. And I can just think of like 100 different ways that I would just change how this scene looked, where I would move the camera, more stuff I would put into the scene. Because most American stuff, every set they go into looks great, right? There's never like, it's never just a real home. It's always just kind of that picturesque, really clean looking. And every place is like that. Even when they go into like a dorm room at like some college, and it's got that same thing where it's like clean and there's like neatly set
and
up.
it's just like there's a Led Zeppelin poster and they're like, see, we get kids.
Yeah, right. This film is like, especially when they're in like their apartment or their house and stuff. They're just moving it around, and I didn't even pay attention to it. And like thinking back on it, I was like, they just nailed it.
You know what
They
was
just nailed
refreshing?
how that place looked.
Was
Yeah.
someone driving a car and someone hopping into a car that wasn't the latest Holden or Ford car.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
They just used a car.
It was just a car. Like, it's
and
the
there
type
was
of
shit
car
in the
you
back
drive
of it.
on your people.
There was like a thing
Yeah.
just like
There's
on
that empty
the,
wine bottle on the
on the back
top.
thing and stuff.
Yeah.
And it looked like there was just like towels or like blankets or whatever just like in the back of it and stuff.
And it like that kind of stuff, it just kind of adds to the comedy as well. Like a lot of comedies
It's
these
character
days,
building.
they don't really use the mise en scene as like anything. It's just like the perfect setting. But like having an old car like that and trying to pass it off as a cop car is hilarious.
They just
But, like,
it makes them more real.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just did a really good job.
yeah, I really
How
like
good's
that,
the
yeah.
name as well? Just the Breaker
The
Uperers.
Breaker Uperers.
That's
So
great.
good. Uperers.
It's good. I was very pleased that it was a very female-dominated film as well.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't have been
Without
done
it being...
I think
I think it
thing,
wouldn't
yeah.
have been.
it wasn't like a noticeable like.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Yeah,
only
exactly.
females allowed to be in the Breaker Uperers. It
Yeah.
wasn't like one of those things. It was just natural.
is
And they didn't
female
just kind of
cast.
like randomly hate men.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just didn't want to be in relationships because they both got burned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it's just like, yeah.
It was done
just
right,
great.
yeah.
And then on that level as well, where was it Mal was bi, but like that also wasn't a big thing. It was just
Yeah.
like I think it was
I do like this-
overall it was like very socially positive. And even though there was a lot of racism in it, like
It was done well because it was.
it was done. It was like
It's 'cause
done
it was
ironically.
cheeky.
Yeah,
Like it was.
it was a little bit cheeky, and also they weren't really taking offense to it. They were just like, "Oh, you probably shouldn't say that."
Yeah.
It was like it's
Yeah.
kind of them being polite, even though like they were
Yeah.
getting like.
And I
Especially,
feel like
especially when
because-
she says that and she's like, I'm not technically white. I'm 1/8. And
Yeah.
all right,
Right.
Angus, before you ask
Bloody
me,
great.
yes, I do have a segment for this.
K-Nox, do you have a segment? Ah, you go.
Bloody got him. So
Bloody Gordo.
this is a game that we've
Classic
played
Gordo.
a few times in our spare time because
Whoa. Are we going to talk about this?
no, this is the other thing.
Okay.
We never talk about it, Brody.
Okay.
Anyway, we've played this game a few times. This is a game where I pose to you. You have a couple of seconds to pitch me your new business franchise, and it's not allowed to be something that already exists. And I want a name of the franchise and what you specialize in, or what you do, or what service you provide. Brody, you've gestured to Angus. You can go first.
Alrighty. So my idea is for those times where you see something and it just annoys you a little bit, but it's like I'm not going to do anything about that. Well, this is for like people to do with that. Specifically, seeing people with bad haircuts. So you call me up.
Why are you looking at me?
Right.
I'm the only person with a haircut in this room, Brody.
You call me up and you're like, I just saw someone with a bad haircut. And it's like, I track them down and I cut their hair in their sleep. So they've got a good haircut.
Sounds
now.
like a hitman, but instead
I'm taking out bad hair.
Taking
You're a
out bad hair.
fixer-upperer.
Yeah.
What's the name?
We are the hair cutterers.
So you specifically do haircuts.
The haircutterers.
That's what you... Fixer-uppers was much better.
No, because that's an actual thing where you fix up a house.
So you only do haircuts then?
Yep. Bad haircuts.
But people can buy haircuts for other people.
Yeah.
You can't go in the store and be like, I'll have a number 2, thanks. No. That's
You
not how
gotta
it
see that
works.
bloke down there? He needs a haircut. Please just...
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Right, and then
I'll
like
stalk them, eventually break into their house where they're asleep and cut their hair.
Okay, the haircutterers. You don't want to come up with a better name for that?
We are the hair men. I was thinking of a hair-related pun for Hitman.
Hitman, yeah.
We are...
Hit hair.
We are the stalkers.
What about
The barbers.
the hair-assinators?
Harassers. That sounds like I'm doing a lot of work down low. You
That's
know
like
what I mean?
a
The
harassment
harassers.
/ Terminator. Alright. Good one. Angus. I mean, it wasn't. It was total shit.
You've got the tick of
Good one.
approval.
You've got... I mean, it was terrible, but... I mean, Angus, pitch to me your perfect business and or service, and what is their name?
Okay, so...
You go around and you cut people's shit beards. And you're called the Beardinators.
the hair-assinators.
We should probably consider a merger.
The beard removalists. Sorry, Angus, go on.
So, my business is...
Oh, yeah?
I put pickles in people's food.
That's the opposite of what almost everybody wants, Angus.
Yeah.
Angus is just a chef.
Angus is
just a pickle-based chef.
no, he's just a prick.
He's just a guy at McDonald's that just sits there holding pickles, and then someone makes a burger and he puts a pickle in it, and then wraps it up.
What I'm picturing is I go to McDonald's, I say, I'll have a burger, no pickles, thanks. And then I get the burger.
Intercept it, insert a pickle, and then give it to you.
And then once the burger's given to me, when I'm not looking, he just very meticulously slips in a pickle.
Yeah.
And that's...
he just slips it.
And then I take a bite, and the catchphrase is just, I've been slipped the pickle.
The catch-up is like, oh.
I appear to have been slipped a pickle.
Yeah.
And you're the pickle slipper.
Pickle slipper.
Is a minor surprise / disappointment. It's like, I didn't know pickles was this.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that taste?
I asked for no pickles.
It's just like, there's no shock moment. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I asked for no pickles.
That's the catchphrase. That's the motto is just, I thought there was no pickles, but clearly I was mistaken.
Yep.
And that's just what you've got printed on a van in quotation marks.
Or if they don't notice, they're just like,
Great.
Yeah. That's my business idea. K-Dogs.
Okay.
What's your business idea?
Okay.
it has to beat the pickle data. The pickler.
Notoriously,
The pickle
I'm
scepter.
terrible at these.
What did you say?
The pickle scepter, like pickle in scepter.
Okay.
But now
It
it's
sounds
just
like
a
a
pickle
scepter.
scepter.
Okay.
Angus is the slippery pickle.
Ocean's
Coming to cinemas near you.
Ocean's 15. It's going to be the Ocean's Gang
man.
versus the pickle slipper.
In a world
Where people don't like pickles occasionally. One man who likes pickles a bit too much takes it upon himself to make sure everyone around him
He's like,
has a small amount of pickles each day.
he's a pickle vigilante.
A pickle auntie?
I like the idea that he just gets.
pickle
I like the idea that he gets arrested and he's just like, pickles for everyone, as he gets like pushed into a police car.
Free the pickle.
Free the pickle. Hashtag free the pickle. If you've got a comment on anything from our stuff now on, either use the hashtag Gordo or the hashtag free the pickle.
Free the pickle. Thank you for listening to the Film Slice Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Film Slice Pod. You can find us on Twitter at film_slice_pod, and on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on SoundCloud. We'd love to know. Pickles yes, pickle no. Tweet at us. Instagram at us at Hashtag free the pickle. Yes or no? Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.
Gordo.